Affinity, and we are in Seattle downtown now. And we're going to talk about revenue models and business partnerships today. And first, thanks for having me out here, Daniel.
Sure.
So why don't you start with telling us a little bit about what Affinity do?
Sure. So Affinity Influencing Systems, we build rewards programs for pretty much anybody who has fans, followers, or supporters. So we primarily talk about working with celebrities, but we also work with colleges, we work with nonprofits and churches and schools. But really the way I'll talk about today is we create a program that a celebrity promotes on their Facebook page. They invite their fans to join to win amazing prizes, typically meet and greets or signed memorabilia or stuff people would want. You know, if we're getting ready to launch one with the Seahawks, and so you could, you know, maybe win a trip to visit Russell Wilson, you know, after the game. So once that invite comes, a person's taken to a page where they're asked to download a little browser button. That browser app is sort of our secret sauce. It allows us to gamify the web and really overlay that person's future search and shopping. So once a person downloads and a musician wants them to go vote on MTV for the music awards, they go, we can see that, and we can reward them real points. They can take those points and cash in for the prizes. More importantly, the way we make money is we overlay their search and shopping. So when they go to their favorite search engine and type in women's shoes or men's shoes, we have 2,000 advertisers who pay us if our fans purchase from them. So we put in the first, third, and fifth natural search results the icon of that celebrity. So a Seahawks helmet, or Jillian Michaels' face, or Jeff Gordon's helmet, indicating that that's a partner. The person that clicks on that link arrives at the website and a bar drops down and says, purchases here earn you points for XYZ. That way they don't have to remember, they don't have to go to a website, it's just real seamless. When they add all their items to the cart, they complete the purchase and a bar drops down and says, thank you for your purchase of $100, you just earned 400 points. Now they can immediately go and cash those in for the sweepstakes entries, for gift cards, whatever. And then you know, they can also then go and complete those and play those quests if they want, if they don't have enough points to buy whatever they want. So it's really, we try to make it a game so they can interact most with the thing that they have the highest affinity for. So
cool, that makes sense. So yeah, let me jump into the revenue models, because I hear a lot of these terms, like you have partnerships, celebrities. So why don't you tell us about what are the different revenue models Affinity uses?
Sure. So I think generally online advertising is broken, and a lot of startups start with this whole idea that they're going to expand to millions and millions of users, and then they're going to sell CPMs and generate revenue, and that's a very broken model. Not only the more you expand, you actually generate less money per user, but it's very hard to get that momentum to millions of users. So what we focus on is really actually delivering value to each of our partners. So we get paid when we sell stuff, and only when we sell stuff. We're not incentivized to drive clicks, we're not incentivized to drive impressions. So what we want to do is find opportunities to actually deliver a user that's interested in a Bahama cruise or looking for a new pair of shoes to a retailer. When they make that purchase, we get paid. We're building a mobile app that will do the same thing. When somebody walks in and makes a purchase and buys a Subway sandwich, we want to get paid, or at least checks in. So our revenue model is certainly advertising based, but we also don't show ads. So we show these celebrity influencers and give people the opportunity to earn points by making those transactions. So it's very much like a credit card rewards program, except instead of purchasing with your Chase card, you're purchasing with whatever at our participating partners, and you make money. But we also make money when people cash in their prizes. If they cash in for gift cards, we get paid. If they complete surveys, which are part of the quest, we get paid. So there's a lot of different ways where we're actually driving our players in a direction that generates us money, but also rewards them for those actions.
So advertising is not your primary revenue model. So what would be your advice for startups, like on how do they pick the right revenue model for their app or their product they're working on?
Yeah, I mean, I would say you need to start with a revenue model before you even pick a company, right? A lot of times people come up with this idea and they have zero idea how they're going to make money. Like I knew exactly, I mean, I started a company in 1999, grew it to $80 million a year in revenue. I knew that evolving that business model into this would create the user economics that I wanted. At my last company, we got to the point where we made about $4 per user. We're already out of the gate in the first year making between $12 and $20 per user. So that actually set the strategy. I didn't come up with the idea to go after celebrities and then decide how to make money. I knew how I made money, and then I tried to figure out the best scenario to get more people to fall into that system.
Let me jump into business partnership. And
Okay.
so why don't you tell us who are your partners, who do you guys work with in Affinity?
Sure. So, I mean, we try to reach people that have existing relationships with any of these affinity groups. So, you know, we're primarily going after celebrities and colleges and all these different things. And there's a lot of people who already have them as their primary customers. So, for example, our sweet spot right now is social media marketing companies that work for celebrities. And it's actually way more powerful than I even imagined, because typically a celebrity will pay a social media marketer maybe $5,000 a month to keep up on whatever social media channels they don't manage themselves. They'll typically manage a Facebook or a Twitter, but they won't keep up on their Instagram and the Pinterest and the blah, blah, blah. So these guys are professional content producers, and we'll have this 90-day plan and keep everything up to speed. But you can get 10 celebrities and you're still only making $50,000 a month, and it's a lot of work. So we go to these social media marketers and say, how about instead of making $5,000 a month in each celebrity, we make you $25,000 a month? And they go, we're listening. And I say, if you launch a fan rewards program and you manage it for these celebrities, we'll give you 70% of the revenue that we generate, which in some cases can be hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then they typically split that 50-50 with the celebrity. So it completely changes their revenue model. Like, it goes from, in fact, some of them have stopped charging celebrities the $5,000 and simply said, if you launch with us, we'll do it all for free. So we're going to give you these professionally designed services that we charge brands tens of thousands of dollars for. You get all this for free as long as we can manage your fan reward. So it's literally changed the revenue model and the growth potential for some of our partners, who have gone from adding 1 to 2 new clients per quarter to adding 10 new clients a quarter. So, and then we also work with agents, who are people who aren't going to do the management but have introductions. So I find pretty much anybody I know who has the ability to introduce me to somebody, and I say, if you are instrumental in the introduction here, you're going to get 5% of the lifetime revenue. And if you actually help us close the deal and you participate through the entire thing, you get 10% of the revenue. So I'm constantly looking for people where I can leverage existing relationships, give them their fair share, and then they're very motivated to keep me, introduce me to the right parties. So.
Okay, cool. So you also mentioned, like, for a business to start, they should have the revenue model in place before they do it. So did you guys think about who the partners are going to be when you actually started thinking about this idea? And that's one question. The other question is, like, for the startups out there, like, what would be your tip to how do they go pick a partner for their product?
So yes, the very first call I made on the first day before I even thought about starting Affinity was this partner. I had talked with them about different revenue models and different ideas, and they liked the idea of the fan rewards concept. And so I told them, if I build this, will you promote it and take it to your clients? And they said yes. So that was the very first call. And then what was the second part of the question?
So how would the startup understand, like, how would
who to pick? So
partner?
I try to think of who's going after the similar partnerships, who would benefit from a share of my revenue. So I'm a very big fan of giving people money that doesn't even exist. So I don't ever view it as I'm giving them 70% of what I earn. I'm giving them a tool that they go and use and generate money, and just letting them keep a certain share of it. So, and then you choose that by how much value you actually create relative to their current stream. So, like the example I gave with the social media marketing company, I'm doing a 5x possible growth on their existing model. No one's going to turn that down. Right. Now, if on the other hand, they are already making $25,000 a month per client, and I come along and say, hey, if you do all this extra work, you're going to make an extra $2,000 a month, and that work is more than the $2,000, they're never going to do it, right? So you have to understand who, even if they work with a bunch of celebrities, so you have to understand who's got the contacts where you want to be, how long those sales cycles are, and like what's the cost to get them up and running, and then what's that relative long-term lifetime value. And like I said, when you're delivering hundreds of thousands of dollars in annual revenue to partnerships, that's a good thing. You get a lot of, and I find one or two, and I dig real deep, and I've become very good friends with our first partners down in LA. I'm down there all the time. I'm making sure that they have 100% awesome customer service experience with us, because we're still a startup, and even though we're awesome and we're making them money, we're still a startup, and we've got lots of things that we make mistakes on and constantly learning and growing, and so I invest heavily in those one or two partnerships until they're very smooth, and then I go out and start growing. And that's where we're at now. Is we've gone from one partnership in Q1 to like 6 partnerships now, and we we could have 30 by
Okay.
Q1 of next year. So
Okay, so start small with partnerships, and as the business goes, like expand and scale.
once you know that it's like super smooth, you've worked out all the kinks. Because your first partnership, like I said, you can give them a higher revenue share
Mhm.
because you want to make it really worth their time, but then you can start cutting that revenue share back because everything's more smooth and you can set expectations a little bit easier, and you can also show, like once you can show, I'm making this person money and you're showing real checks, like that makes the next partnership that much easier to sign. So.
Makes sense. All right, that's Daniel from Affinity. Daniel, thanks for sharing your perspective on revenue models and business partnerships. That was great, and thanks again for having me here.
All right, thanks for joining.
Yeah.